Hi guys. So today what we got is it's a Pelican case from New Use Energy. They don't make the case, but they buy the case and then they integrate their battery system in it. And after they do that, they send it out to a bunch of people in need of a mobile power source. And it's a really neat product. So go check out New Use Energy. But anyways, they are having a problem with this case being so heavy. These plastic wheels, just over time, the abuse they get, and with the case being 140 pounds, it is shattering these wheels. So what we're planning on doing is designing a big wheel kit. So I'm working with their team over there, and we're working on modifying the existing Pelican case into something that will just be more off-road rugged. I'm sure if you never dropped this case on the ground or pulled it off the back of a truck or down some steps, it would be just fine. It's really just the abuse these get out in the field that is causing these wheels to fail. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and scan it. I've got my Einscan HX2, pretty neat tool, and I'm gonna scan the whole thing and show you guys my reverse engineering process and just the overall design process of fitting it. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. One thing I want to note is this is called A-Sub scanning spray. I get it from Vision Miner, but you can see on here I went ahead and sprayed that, and I had a little marker fall off because I tend to put markers on after I spray it, which I'm doing that because I like to use laser scanning. It's just a little bit more accurate, but it's to absorb any light, or sorry, excuse me, the black box itself absorbs a lot of light, so you have to put something on it to allow the lasers to pick up, the surface. I believe in laser scanning now. I'm not an expert. I've had this for about 4 or 5 months now, so I'm still learning. But these little reflective stickers I put on here, that's just essentially to locate general surfaces and locate the scanner in orbit around whatever you're scanning. And so anyways, yeah, I was using a mixture of acetone and baby powder, but it creates a huge mess, and it didn't work really well. Even the acetone, dedicated acetone bottles I bought specifically for acetone, the pumping action, all the seals would fail, and then I couldn't pump anymore. And then I had clogging problems all the time with the baby powder if I got the mixture wrong. So this stuff works great, dissipates after. This one's 24 hours, you can get less time, but awesome stuff. It's a little spendy, but it's worth not dealing with the hassle in my opinion. So anyways, I'll get to designing and scanning and show you guys what I'm doing. You'll note as I'm doing this that I can rotate this around and just pause mid scan. And since I'm doing a really high resolution scan, what I like to do, I caught part of the table down here, so I'm just gonna select this, and I can create a plane, move that up to somewhere I want it, somewhere in here. Go ahead and apply. Then my scanner won't pick up anything behind there, so that helps. And we'll go ahead and maybe just clean up a little bit of these data points just so I can keep scanning. Go ahead and delete that. Got some floating here. That I can even paintbrush this, create a connected domain, invert that, go ahead and delete it, clean it up. And we'll keep scanning. So with that, what I got here is I got my whole locations located. I got this main body, this outside ridge, and the entire radius. And I got the inside, not the best, but it'll be good enough. It's got enough of a whole location there that I can pinpoint it. And so I'm going to go ahead and utilize this. One thing you have to think about is the amount of time you spend scanning. I really just kind of utilize it to get the most I can. That will allow me to reverse engineer it and design it in my program. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and do another connected domain so I can get some of this loose data points and delete them. And I'm going to go ahead and probably chop it somewhere in here. Let's go ahead and use lasso. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Oops, too far. I'm going to do that again. So when I do these scanning things, when I'm just trying to get the best detail I can, I do underwater tight, obviously, because it's not fully enclosed. And then I don't do any filter. I've messed around with this for a little bit, but ultimately I just don't want to have it smooth anything out that I don't want it to. I do leave it to where it will fill in some of these marker holes. I found that it doesn't work the best, but like I said, I still have enough of the geometry I need to where I can utilize what is here to reverse engineer this hole. So another thing I changed is max triangles. This is set at like 2 million. Fusion hates it, but I try to stick with like 800,000. Then I go ahead and preview it. Take a look at it. Looks pretty good. Lost quite a bit there, but I can still grab this location and just make a wall parallel from the other side at the right distance. So not a huge deal. I can still see my hole a little bit. I might change the small hole perimeter fill down to, oh no, increase that up to 15. Let's preview this again. Well, there's a little bit more there. And again, if I get the general hole location, I can just make it concentric and parallel with this one. So I'm going to call that good. Confirm. And then the next thing I like to do, you can go through and clean it up a little bit more in this area. But I don't really mess with that stuff too much. I've only had this scanner for about 6 months, so some other people might know more than me. And if you do, I'd love to see your guys' comments on what I can do to improve my scanning abilities. But from here, I like to go into measurement, and I seem to struggle every time doing this, but I want to do a 3-2-1 movement. That way when I pull it into Fusion, because you can see my X and Y axis is pretty messed up on here right now. I like to get it at least close. That way it's a little bit easier to orbit around in Fusion. So I want to go ahead and not move yet. I need to do create features. And so I need a plane, a line, and a point. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my plane. On this side, I'm just going to do 3 points. Try to make it in the shape of a triangle the best I can. Create a plane there. Then let's go ahead and create a line. No, let's not create a line. Let's see. I think I might do another plane just on the front face. Something like that. It's not perfect, but like I said, I'm just trying to get it close. I could create a line with plane, plane 1, plane 2, create. There we go. And then I could create line and plane intersection. And I want that to be on plane 1, I believe. Create. Oops. Plane 2. Oh, they're parallel. So I need an opposing one. So let's go ahead and create another plane. 3 point. Create a plane. Let's go to a point, and we can just do, let's see, line plane, select line 1, plane 3, create, go ahead and close that. Now I got my point and plane, so I can go ahead and move this using the 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to utilize, I believe plane 3 will be my best, and I'll have it going, yeah, negative Z, line 1, point 1, and move. Let's see, it's kind of at an angle here. So maybe let's try to utilize plane 2, and plane 2 will be, oh no, not plane 2, plane 1, and that will be negative Z. Let's move that again. Flips it upside down, but let's change that to positive Z. Plane 1 seems to be a little off, so the whole thing's rotated a little bit, but like I said, that gets me pretty close, and I can adjust it a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to leave it as is. And I can go ahead and export this. I like it as a 3MF. I don't know if it really matters. If somebody else knows if it matters, let me know. But I 3D print with 3MF, so I just like saving it as that. %, scale ratio. Perfect. Alright guys, my apologies, but I lost some footage here in the beginning of my designing process. I don't know if it screen recording just capped out or whatnot, but anyways, while this time lapse through really quick, I just wanted to give an overall idea of what I'm doing here in Fusion 360, And if you guys have any questions or want me to make a video specifically on the designing phase of importing a mesh file that you scanned, and would I go through to kind of reverse engineer the general shape to then design off of it, I can make another video on that. But in general, what you do is you import your mesh, and you might have to play around with the mesh a little bit, reducing the number of triangles it has. And if it's a more generic shape, it's a good idea to generate face groups. But then from there, I go ahead and create mesh section sketches. And with those, I can get the general shape. It's essentially cutting your mesh in a plane. And I get the general shape, and then you can do fit curves to mesh. If you hit S on your keyboard and search for it, you can select that tool and just fit curves to mesh, and to choose, there's a bunch of options there, but pick ones that fit best for the shape you're dealing with. And I just get the general shape, and you'll kind of see in this time lapse, but I get the general shape, and then I fix it in position so it can't move, and then I draw my own shape around that, and then I use different constraints to fix it to the fixed geometry of the fit curves to mesh tool. I don't know if that makes any sense, kind of going through this fast, but anyways, that gives me the general shape, and then I can extrude from that. And a good way to check how close you are to the original mesh is you'll see more blue of the mesh popping through the gray color of the body you're working with. And so once I got that, then I just try to clean up the extra unneeded parts, because again, I'm just making the general shape, not the exact shape. I just want to get the profile of that little cubby slot where the wheel is at. And then from there, that's when I just create just a big cube essentially over top of that body that I created representing the wheel slot. And then I go ahead and typically I do, you can select two bodies and cut one body with another, and then that imprints the reversed side of that wheel slot. And then from there I try to playing around with cleaning up some of the weird faces I got from that, and I ended up realizing that one of the mesh section sketches I used was it wasn't parallel to the body I was working with, so I had to go back through, restart. I was messing with faces trying to do something, but anyways, I figured that out, went back, created a plane that was parallel to my mesh section sketch, and then it went pretty good. Cleaned up a little bit of the again weird shape that you can get from combining two bodies using the combine cut tool, and then from there I went ahead and 3D printed it. So I'll let you guys watch the rest of this time lapse, and then I will go ahead and show you guys how well the 3D printed part fits, and what I think about it, and if I need to make any adjustments. But anyways, like I said, if you guys want me to go more in depth in the designing side of a scanned mesh into Fusion 360 specifically, I can also make another video, a little bit more simplistic part, just to give you the general idea. But anyways, I will see you guys in just a second with the 3D printed part. Alright guys, here is our 3D printed test part, just to see if it fits that little wheel well nice, and it did. The only problem I had was the hole was a little bit too small, so I ended up having to drill it out, so I'll have to go back and adjust that. But overall the radiuses line up, the ridges line up, and you can see fits in there nice and snug. It's fairly flush on the top, flush here. And actually when I put that pin in there, it matched everything up really nice and tucked it in there, and really rock solid in here. So anyways, that is what it looks like, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish designing it, and I'll probably take some footage, make some shorter footage of that, just to kind of show you guys leading up to the finished product. And yeah, we'll go from there. I appreciate you guys watching, and if you guys want a video, like I was saying, more detailed on going from a scanned mesh, and reverse engineering it, or even something more simple that you just want to turn it into a body in Fusion 360, I can show you guys that too. So anyways, thanks for watching.